How long do you watch a show before you say enough is enough? Specifically, if it's a new one. Do they have to get you in the first episode? Do you give them 2 or 3? Do you give them 8? Do you give them half a season, a full season? Do you keep going on to season 3 if that's how far they go? And, if they go on to season 8, do you watch through season 5? We all have had those moments, I think. As fans of many different things, if you watch my channel, then I'm assuming you're a fan of these pop culture things too, and you've probably experienced something similar to what I'm talking about. We just feel a need to. But why? I mean, it's just a show. It's not reflecting real life. It's not necessarily reflecting real life. Let's just say there are some more realistic shows than others. But that aside, it's not affecting our life. If we don't finish it, it's not like somebody's going to come down and punish us for it. It's not like somebody's going to be holding a gun to the back of our head, or at least I hope not, to finish it. Our lives are going to go on. Nothing bad is going to happen from us not finishing a show. I guess, yeah, there's that way, way, way out there. People are going to be like, but what if this happens? Okay, fine. There's a 1/1000th of a chance, I think. But honestly, not finishing a show doesn't really mean anything. So why do we do it? And the reason I bring this up, or the reason I wanted to make this video and talk about it, is because over the past year, I've gone back, I've made a list of shows I haven't finished, some of which I still haven't put on that list because I keep thinking of them. And I have finished a few of them. But then as I'm watching, I'm like, why didn't I never finish this? Why am I wasting an hour watching this show when I could be watching something I actually enjoy, or I could be out with my friends or hanging with my family. I could be with my wife. I could be doing something more productive. Yes, we've all heard that. We've all heard that before. And what can I say? I like shows. I like TV. I like movies. And I'm sure a lot of you do too. But still, what is it inside us that drives us to want to finish these shows? Shows that, if we're honest with ourselves, we don't really care about. So I've been thinking about it, thinking about my reasonings, and I've come up with, I think, some really good ones. And I've come up with 6 of them. Now, these aren't going to be any specific order, like 6 to 1. They're not going to be, here's the main reason and here's the least reason. It's just 6 reasons. So, after watching this video, put down in the comments what you think. Is there a reason that I didn't mention that you're like, well, here's the reason I probably watch the rest of this show? Do you agree with one of them? Is there more to what I'm saying than what I ultimately am going to? Okay, that sounded kind of weird. But whatever, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and don't forget to hit that like button. So, with the ending now at the beginning, let's get into my 6 reasons why we finish shows that are bad. Now, before I get into my reasons, I want to make it perfectly clear. There have been 1 or 2 shows where I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't watch any more of this. The 2 that come to my mind specifically are the Netflix show Disenchanted, where I thought, okay, 3 seasons are done. Here's a 4th one. Okay, let's watch the first episode. I can't take it anymore. And then this will surprise some people, because I know there's plenty of fans of it. The Witcher. Netflix's The Witcher. Got through the first season, started episode 2 of Witcher for season 2, and I've just never gone back. I'm just not really that interested in it. So that's not to say that I haven't stopped watching a show. But there are plenty of shows that I'm like, why did I finish that? Why did I even bother doing it? And one reason is there's one season left. It's a numbers game. You have 3 seasons left to finish a show. You're like, oh, do I really want to deal with 3? But if you have 1 left, it's like, okay, I don't have that much left. I can suffer through it. I can see how it ends. I can deal with this. And then I don't ever have to watch it again, and I don't have to think about it again. So the fact that you might have just 1 season left, there's something in your brain that's just like, that's doable. Nothing's terrible enough that I can't deal with it for a little bit longer. Again, people would disagree on certain things, I know. But we're talking about TV here. My second reason, I would say that you got the shorter seasons. Or this is in the sense of episodes. You have fewer episodes, or the lengths are shorter. I mean, with the way streaming is right now, all you have to do really is look at things like Disney. Their seasons are like 8 episodes long. It's not really hard to watch 8 episodes of a show. It's even less hard if it's like 4 episodes. And, I mean, yes, you still have to put in the time if it's an hour or whatever. But, again, numbers game. It's a lot easier to watch 8 episodes than it is to watch 12 or 22. And if it is a 22 episode season, maybe it's only 20 minutes long. Again, it's the idea of, well, it feels short, so I can binge it, or I can just watch it and be done. It kind of gives us that mentality that, like, okay, there's not that much more. Let's just get through it. Another idea, if you have, say there's 2 seasons left, you don't have the single season, or you don't have the fewer episodes. Maybe you tell yourself it has to get better. You're like, you get to a point where you're like, it can't get worse than this. It really can't. It's got to go up. It's got to get back to where it was. It can't end on this low note. The writers wouldn't do that. This show was so good to start. There's no way it's going to stay down here. I got to see it get better. I loved it in the beginning. It's going to be better again. It has to. It's reached the lowest of the low. And I know I repeated a lot there, but that's just your mindset. You're like, okay, I've seen the worst, but I can still see the best. And I still believe that the best is out there. Speaking of best at one point, that's another reason. We remember why we started watching it in the first place. We remember it was good. The characters were good. The story was solid. We were invested. Maybe there was a good mystery going on. Maybe there was great action. Maybe they ended it on a great cliffhanger. We're like, we need to see this. We need to see what happens. Maybe the visuals were fantastic. Maybe if it's a drama, maybe it made us cry. We like that. Maybe it was hilarious at one point. And we just can't see that this show that we started, that we were watching, is now this one. It's that deniability. We're telling ourselves again and again, no, this isn't the show. This is the show. It's in a slump. It's going to get better. or this is not my show. I'm watching something different, and I know that they can do so much better, and I have faith. I trust that this is going to get better. I trust that this is going to be worth my time. I trust that they're going to pay off all the time that I've spent on this show. They're not going to make me feel like I've wasted however many hours or however many minutes you want to go there watching this show. Yeah, because big business and movie theaters and movie companies and television shows, they would never do that. Again, I should probably put in here, everything I'm saying is all about perspective. There could be a show that you think is great and got bad. Maybe another person thought it was great the whole way through. Maybe it just wasn't for somebody, and then somebody showed them like an episode and they're like, this is that show? Maybe I'll check out the other ones. We all like different things. We all have different feelings about stuff, which is why, for me, as I said at the start here, that I'm not a fan of The Witcher. I just gave up on it. And I know there's lots of people that love The Witcher. It's kind of also, I'm going to mention Stranger Things here, because I know I just lost a whole bunch of people watching this video by saying that. But it's not that I hate Stranger Things. I don't think Stranger Things was bad. I just wasn't as into it as other people were. But also the fact that the last season that they had, I know there's another season coming, but given that the last season was like movie-length episodes, that's hard to watch. I mean, that goes back again to just a length of a show or a movie possibly affecting if you want to watch it or whether or not you do watch it, So, moving on to our fifth thought. It is something I did, again, I kind of teased it in another one, but we feel obligated to. It feels like an unwritten contract or an unwritten bond between us and the writers, or us and the characters, us and the producers, us and the actors, whatever, that, okay, I've given you my time. I've watched what you've done. I feel obligated to at least see how you end. I feel obligated to give you the rest of my time watching this. You put in the time to make this season, you put in the effort, then I'm obligated to watch it, because if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have made another season. Though that's just a lot of people in general. It's not like you're the only person. But we do kind of feel that connection. We feel it with, again, the actors, the writers, the directors. So maybe mentally we're saying, I'm obligated to finish this. I gave them the freedom. I gave them the desire to continue on, and they should be rewarded for that, no matter how bad it is, which is not true. And finally, for me, I think this is one of the big ones. A simple desire to know how it ends. How do these characters get together? How do they defeat this ultimate evil? How do they defeat this final bad guy? Who ends up together? Who dies? Who is really behind everything? What's the answer to this mystery we've been following this entire season or this entire series? Granted, those aren't always rewarding. I'm not going to say some, but there are some that are talked about a lot. Whether that's just the two off the top of my head, Lost or Sopranos, the way they ended. It's just a desire to know how everything finishes, how everything comes together. And I think that's the biggest one, honestly. We start a show, we really like it for 2 or 3 seasons, and we keep watching like, well, I'm obligated to watch it. It was good at one point. It has to get better, right? You know, I hear they might only have one more season. All of that is just, I can find out how this ends. I'm going to be curious about it. We think it's going to haunt us in some way. Well, maybe that's a little extreme. But hey, as nerds and as fans of things, maybe sometimes we do tend to go a little extreme, at least by other people's standards. So, like I said, a lot of these things kind of blended together. And ultimately, I do think, like I mentioned, it's all about wanting to know how something ends. We want to know how a good book ends. We want to know how a video game ends. We want to know how a movie ends. We want to know how our TV shows end. And yeah, I'll say it. We want to know how life ends too. Sometimes we want to know. We might want to know how our story ends, or what comes after. You know, I really think the more I've talked, the more I've thought about this right now, it's a desire to know what comes next. It's a desire to finish something. You know what they say, curiosity killed the cat. And sure, it's just a TV show. But honestly, the same rule applies at times. It's just another form of art. It's another form of media. And, you know, like I said, as humans, we're just curious. Sometimes we can easily give something up. Other times we can't. So all that to basically say, there's my 6 reasons why I think we desire or we crave to finish TV shows. Again, there's 1 season left. The seasons are short. You know, whether that's episode length or number of episodes. It has to get better at some point, right? On the same topic, it was good at one point, or else I wouldn't have started watching it. We feel a sense of obligation to finish the show. And finally, just a simple humanistic desire to know how it ends. So this is definitely not one of my usual type of videos, but it was something that I've been thinking about. So I want to say thank you for watching this. Thank you for taking the time to hear my thoughts. Now, like I said at the beginning, I'm curious about yours. Why do you watch a show that maybe you've not grown as fond of, that's lost some of its pizzazz to you? What are some shows that this has happened to you with? Whatever your thoughts, comment down below, and again, hit that like button. And remember, as always, read what you love, enjoy what you love, and let's all work for a better fandom. I'll see you next time.